Hi, Lisa. This is Rebecca with your assignment 2 critique. Great work with all this experimenting and trying out all your new tools that you've learned. And congratulations, you made some creepy images. I know that you struggled with some of the concepts and stuff, but I think that overall, like each of these are successfully creepy, even if the concept is a little bit unclear. So on the first image, I when I first look at it, I'm a little bit confused as to why some of the elements are in there. But if I look at it as a whole, it is definitely creepy. I love the moon. I love that neat sky, and the the house looks like almost exactly the house from the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. So that's a little bit close to my heart. Um, and that tree really lends to some of the mystery in there. It seems like the woman in the foreground on the horse is like a ghost, and she's kind of being led by like this spirit in the upper right corner. So I'm not sure if that's what you're going for, but that's the narrative that I get from this story. So it did become very narrative by adding all of these elements. And I also like that like unicorn horn on this um, ghost unicorn's head. I think that's a really neat addition as well. So um, good work with your experimenting on that one. The second image is really cool because obviously with the pirate ship, it immediately has like this pirate ghost story feel. Um, and it seems like your woman who is on the horse that's present in all three of these images kind of becomes like this almost like fairy of death or something maybe. Um, but she has in this picture, it seems like she has her assistant, the Grim Reaper, helping her out or something along those lines. So I really like the gestures of the skeletons. I think that they really add to the narrative. Um, and this compass in the upper left corner seems symbolic in some way. So I'm trying to tie together a narrative, and obviously I'm coming up with something on my own. So I think that um, leaving things to the viewer's imagination was successful here. And I like this fog that you've added to the overall image. That really helps to kind of make things not feel so collagey. It seems like by adding that fog, it sets all the objects in the image a little bit more. So good work there. And this last image is so different than the other two. Obviously, it stands on its own, but I'm glad that we got to see her large with her detail of her bat wings, and um, so that was really interesting. And I see that you were experimenting with some text and maybe some of the some brushes, like some custom brushes that you created with the paint there. So that's nice. The only thing that feels unbalanced here is that shadow is getting cropped off on the right side. And so I'm wondering if there was, where the edge of this image's canvas ends, and, what's going on there. So right now she seems kind of free floating, but with that shadow being cut off, it makes the viewer realize that there is supposed to be a border there. So I recommend either putting all this stuff on a colored border of some sort, even if it's a very light gray that's almost white, something to frame it, may help it bring it together a little more. I don't necessarily think you need the blood underneath the got blood text, because there's a tiny bit of blood coming out of her mouth, and I think that's enough to tell the story that she's looking for blood, or something along those lines. So, or that she feeds off of blood. The font is a nice font, and I'm not sure if it's the right font for the character. But I think that I'm so distracted by the blood underneath it that it's hard for me to see it without it. So that's just something to consider there. So as far as the overall triptych goes, it seems like it was put together just, kind of thrown together. And you worked so hard on each of these images that it would be nice to present them in a very clean, finished, kind of more polished manner. So, go ahead and watch that how to create your triptych video again. And, I recommend making these two the same width and aligning them so they're centered nicely. Like right now, this one's pushed over to the right a little bit, has a larger gap here. Same with this one, is a larger gap on the left side than it has on the right side. And giving this one the border, oops, sorry about that, the border that it actually deserves. You could even make a black border around it if you wanted to keep a white background, but I think that it would look a little distracting with a black border, and that just adding some color to the background might be a better solution there. So um, otherwise, great job pushing yourself out of your comfort zone into this weird, creepy assignment. And I mean, I know that you had a hard time, but you came up with a lot of neat imagery to composite together, and you did it in a really interesting way. So great work applying so many new tools that you use and experimenting. Keep it up. You're doing great.